Welcome back, friends. Lost Sky fan. It's time for more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is it, the finale. We end in this. Pretty sure this is like the last 5-10 minutes, and then a bunch of epilogue. They show that Mr. Grin had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely, the bloodstains on the coat. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right. The victim's blood spattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you possibly have known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole in the... The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously, Has the cat got your tongue, witness? The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred. And once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windybanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Which means he was there during the investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course, The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock, in shifts so we get through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Yeah, that's a good point. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the peephole in the door. How on earth is that possible? Could I have a word, please, Lord Von Zeeks? Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you... Permission denied. Oh. It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon? You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Objection!
Why are you objecting? Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes. But the defense believes the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be. Pretty bad that this is who we think it is. Who was the person in question, counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony? He's right there. Why is it Gregson? It's a pretty good surprise, because, wait, Gregson's a bad guy?
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today. Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with a great urgency during our hour-long recess, while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station. And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court. So, Gregson did a bad thing to fund his, unlimited chips and fish and chips. Are you suggesting that until such time that as he was summoned? Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusations that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information? So that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin? Exactly! And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson! This is a bloomin' outrage! Why would I be giving away details of investigations to a fella like this, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Had you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery. Which means... the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they'd been in full view of the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred. No, there was a time. Oh, I just remembered something, Luna. What is it, Iris? There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Ginny was testifying. There it is. Oh yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilded's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it! It was during that testimony! Yeah. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the Inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. Yeah, Von Ziegler didn't notice that at all. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then. You little tow-rag! You're making all this up! I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would he be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke? Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps. It was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense. Huh? What deal, Counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector? I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is this Nipponese student's specialty. I don't do that! But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it. Well, now, do you think it could be? Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. Oh, on the nose! On the nose with that! I must press you for an answer now, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness? The music disc?
Take that!
Yep, there it is. Inspector Gregson! Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What? Are you getting at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that this other top-secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice? How the bleeding Nora could you? We discovered, during the course of this trial, the music box deposited at Windybanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing these secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the discs for details of the case. You little... Ah! Order! 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 On the day of the incident, when we met at Mr. Windybanks, you said this. I'll be taking that whatever it is in McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. You know there was a bear. No, don't. Don't give it to him. It's mine, that is, mine. I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. Scotland Yard already knew at the time. Isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it under QT, strictly hush-hush. That explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. Oh crap, knock something over. I realized there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness, to aid and abet this man in giving false testimony. There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men. No. Ah!
Objection!
Seriously, Zeeks? If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this room? How could you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand. Good gracious, then, you mean to say Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
Yes!
Yes! The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once. Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Guinea was testifying before. And Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately. Search his ass. Well, Inspector. Meow, 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 meow. This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me in my profession quite enough. Huh? However, if it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search. What? He's going to agree to it? I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, You will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end. And my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are seriously reprimanded. That sounds serious. Indeed, to have a visiting student make such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook. You're just threatening Warner because you're scared. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. It's true. Can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. Very well, Counsel. You know the applications. So let me ask you one final time. Yes, my lord? Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects? I'm safe. We need to search someone else. The question is, who do we search? Search someone else. Yes, the defense formally demands a search be conducted. Well, don't say you weren't warned. But your typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good. Fair enough. I've got nothing to hide. Very well, then. Bailiff, conduct a search of the inspector's personal effects, please. Not him. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. What? Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me. No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else. What's the meaning of all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You've been completely irrational. I assume it's the judge. Be quiet, all of you. No, it wasn't! Oh, Cyrus, be quiet, all of you. Warner's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way. And I have a bazooka. Pretty sure that guy's German. Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense's counsel's conviction, and eagerly awaits his next words. You what? Now don't be hasty, my lord. Yeah, he gave away the cards there. If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today, I'm fairly sure that I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be. I have no clue. Counsel, of whom do you request this search for now? I'm gonna just scum save real quick and pick Sasato. We need to search Mr. Sasato. Wait, no. Okay. Now you want to believe it's Graydon. But could it be one of these dorks? Can we pick Von Zeeks for fun? Alright, make it Graydon, which means it's still in his hands.
Take that!
Mr. Ashley Graydon, my lord? The defense demands that he be searched at once. Very well. I presume you will not protest, Mr. Graydon. Oh, it's not on him. Au contraire. Ah, balls, it's not on him. It's on one of the other two. And so a brief body search was carried out by the court bailiff. We had to restart. A few short minutes later, it was revealed that Mr. Graydon had nothing on you. Damn it! Alright. Go with Nash, then. Yeah, it wouldn't be on the obvious guys. It has to be on Nash. Gotta be on Nash. It's Nash or Shorty Boy. Because, okay, they've been near each other, and they've been near Guinea, but they're not going to put it on her. It's gotta be on Skulkin. Or Ringo. I'm gonna say Nash, but it might be Ringo.
Take that!
Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin?
Well, I never.
Blimey!
Oh my god. Very well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Hold it!
Oh, it is Nash! Please, my lord!
Inspector.
Scotland Yard, has to object to this search.
Objection!
It was Nash. Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object. But Lord Anziques! I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
Bailiff, carry out the search.
So it is on Nash.
Now, hold on a moment. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out!
Alright. Here, my lord, in the witness's pocket. I found this.
Good lord, that's...
Another music disc. Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it. Nothing.
That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilden. Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
Order, order, order! Mr. Skulkin, what have you to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett, Gordon Flamin' Bennett. That's why I didn't know nothing about this disc. Honest to God.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck was between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
Then, for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in his trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall. What unusual behavior?
It was, yes, during my cross-examination, Mr. Graydon. Oh, right, when he was strangling him. He put it in his pocket when he was strangling him. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance the second disc in your jacket pocket? I admit to nothing of the sort. There it is. He slipped it in him while he was doing that. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he didn't know that my noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as a brother, I was. As me brother.
What exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got no clue. He just suddenly grabbed me and whistled like that and started shaking me. Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down the station? That's what he said. He held it right down my ear hole, he did. My head's still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig. He hid it.
You!
But I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions. My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the Ministry, and do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush.
Hush-hush. A top-secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under direct orders from the Ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question. So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in the court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Ah, does this mean...
He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him to slip the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense.
Ah.
Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon. Are you prepared to admit to the accusation made against you of this alleged deal?
Admit to it? Yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon! Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the Inspector.
Objection!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole? I'm under no obligation to explain. What? Yes, I lied in my testimony, that I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All this is a young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of this is about. Any of that is about. You what? Alright, still going, alright. Get up quick. Whoa, that was an interesting animation switch. Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? You admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard Inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I'm acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice. So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions.
This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings.
Well now, as a fellow servant of Queen and Country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector. Yes, he's a pivotal man, I'm sure, quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me. Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really. I don't remember that guy's voice. Graydon is highly skilled in operator, stop. Currently in presence of vitals, stop. Doesn't help us. Detective has very much trust in eyes. More than this, I cannot say. I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're going to believe Gregson? If they declare their decision now. Is Guinea going to be found guilty? I think there's enough bullcrap happening in this case where everyone says not guilty on Guinea because they can tell that there's no way she got the kill. If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. I feel like now's the time for not guilty. How could they think she's guilty still after all this crap? Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windybank, or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness.
Well then, Counsel, I think it's time I impose on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
If I let the judge call the judges... If I let the judge call the jurors and announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty.
But there's no choice then, Luna. You have to throw some more evidence at him.
This is it now. It all comes down to this. Again, it all comes down to this. I'm really getting annoyed at that little bit. Who do I present evidence against? Gregson or Graydon? Let's check the court record first. What do I have? This revealed the box. The manuscripts, blood samples, this one, this. Alright. Autopsy report. I have this many ideas right now. Alright, scum safe. We're gonna just... Let's see what happens when we just go to the jury really quick. What happens when we go to jury? Before I take a guess. I can't possibly decide this. I think all I can do is leave it in the jury's capable hands at this No, Luna! Fudge! Look how far we've come! This is the final stretch! We need to pick the most explosive piece of evidence and throw it at the weakest weakness. Hard! Will we hard? Just before you do, you deserve an explosive punishment for that weakest of decisions. Ah! This will be the final blow. I need to decide where to place it for myself. Your answer then, please, Counsel. This is it now. It all comes down to this. Who do I present evidence against, Gregson or Graydon? He was a jury anyway. Not leaving jury. Okay. I'm gonna do a wild guess here. Let's do a wild guess. Let's go for Gregson here. Inspector Gregson, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see. Eh? What's that then? If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly. Well, go on. This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here. One final piece of evidence to get this detective to admit to the deal he clearly struck with Graydon. I have no idea. For funsies, let's put this one up.
Take that!
Oh! What on earth is this, Counsel? Irrefutable proof, my lord, of the corrupt dealings that went on between these two men. Is it? Or perhaps irrefutable proof of the corrupt workings of my learned friend's mind. Ah! Really, Counsel, at this stage of the proceedings, I would have expected a more considered argument. The defense would be duly penalized. Look, I just had nothing there. I'm like, let's go with this. Let's see if this wild thing does anything. They only struck that deal at the very last possible moment when they were in the stand. What's more, there's no loss between them. Clearly, it was strictly business. When you think about it, murder and treason are both such serious crimes. Yes, punishable by death. But I don't think old Silky's going to admit to either anytime soon, do you? No, but Gregson, on the other hand, he's just refusing to admit to what happened because he's been sworn to secrecy out of a sense of duty. I wonder. If Wegsy's lips are sealed because he's determined to do his duty, then perhaps to prise them open, they're going to have to be determined enough to do their duty too, Kuno. Huh, of course, he'd do anything to follow his orders, so... The jury has indicated its readiness to declare its final findings. I urge you to consider this as your final deed in this trial, Counsel. This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here. I got no idea still.
Take that!
It's the music box. Son of a bitch! Alright. Is that Mr. McGilded's peculiar music box, Counsel? Oh, I got an idea. Yes, with the disc already in place, ready to play. Oh, let's play the other one! Oh, that's the play! Oh, let's just play all the government secrets. Yes, with the disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time, with the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well. Good goodness, this disc, Counsel.
Hold it!
No, wait! I can't let you do that! Why not?
Because it's got nothing to do with this case, that's why.
Objection.
Not true, Inspector.
Huh?
The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. Huh. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
We're crying out loud, Sunshine. We're talking about state secrets here. If you go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that, it's treason.
Then do you admit the charge? That in order to protect these state secrets, you engage in unlawful dealings with the witness?
You're mad. If you let that secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection.
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because of a fair means or foul you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare!
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. Drinking. My lord, if you please. The court must hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Von Zeeks! For Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection.
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor, and I'm not Scotland Yard's puppet.
Ah!
In this courtroom, my duty is to the law, so let me propose a toast. To uncovering the truth. By fair means or foul.
No!
Huh? Very well. The defense's stance here and that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place and both discs playing simultaneously.
Ah!
Are we really gonna hear it? Oh god, we are gonna hear it. Oh, listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code! Hold it.
Alright, I admit it. Whatever you want. But for the love of God, shut that bloomin' box up!
Did anyone translate that Morse code real quick? Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon? Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker's storeroom door, Inspector?
I did.
Huh. Stop! What are you doing then?
It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess and we were stood here in the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal.
Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up! This, you there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbrokery the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector, with me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept. Information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed.
I couldn't let that information become public knowledge. Not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door, and the bloodstains on the overcoat.
By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that! Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the peephole had only been made that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say tonight for yourself? I know this is for the contrivance of the game, but seriously, the moment Gregson knew that Graydon had the disc, he just had to take it off his ass. There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windybank. You. Oh, look at him, he's disheveled now. Ooh, broke it! Traitor! Ah! Oh, snap! I'm getting splinters! Woo! Woo! Oh! He popped the chip out of him! Bailiff! Restrain that man! At once! Did they restrain him? He had a hostage. That's it then! It's all over! Now I'm glad I did another episode. It's already 40 minutes. I despise my life growing up. Those slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying, to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole. And you eventually became a communications officer. I admit your determination. I admire your determination. But then you decided to try to sell government secrets? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out, with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded. You're a fiend with a queer talent, so you are. I have money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need do is go along with me little plan now. I was to steal the Ministry's telegraphic message slugs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the Ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task. The law of the devil's offerings, how easy it is to succumb. But you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing. And for that reason I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable. By using the music box. My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He'd once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier. Look at you, Ashley! What a fine gent you've become, eh? He was a different man than the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him, never corrected him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs, eh?
A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me. There are 2, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
That's how I had him make the 2 discs. Thereby splitting this information in 2, you were taking considerable precautions indeed. It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGilded in 2 separate transactions. The first involved the first of the 2 discs and the music box for playing them. I exchanged with McGilded for 10 guineas. And then on receipt of the second disc, you would pay 1,000 guineas.
So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago? Was the second part of the deal the exchange of the second disc?
Yes. I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already. But it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
But that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. But why was it that on the omnibus 2 months ago? Your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded and not yourself.
When I received the 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
"Next time there's an exchange, you'll let me old man do it, you understand? Otherwise I won't take your money anymore."
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of monster McGilded really was. After 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore in my father's name. To exact revenge.
Revenge? He's like, "Oh, I gotta drink for this."
As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine. McGilded brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. To crush any semblance of justice in his trial.
Huh?
The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. The trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish.
My feet had barely touched British soil back then, and I was walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all. So what does Strongheart have to do with all this, right? Because he's the one who made us put in for it. Did he know we'd be involved in all this and find the way, or was he part of this whole bribe thing and straight secret stuff?
I'd made plenty of money out of dealing with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in the city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that.
Are you saying that?
I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything to his favor in his courtroom, to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered justice that monster deserved.
I thought he faked his death.
The tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly.
McGilded's death that day was caused by this man. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
What's this, officer? This sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
So that policeman who came to tell McGill that he could examine the omnibus again? That's right, an imposter, hired by me. McGill had used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death. A spine-chilling account indeed. But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see. A loose end? Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded. Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Now, here's the thing, okay. Was the second disc in the box, then? That's the only way. Clearly, because it had been removed from the scene of the crime. When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. So much background learning for this. This is the first of the 2 discs in the music box you need to play them.
Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, my young man.
What's this? Windybank's pawnbrokery?
Aye, 'tis a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem an article I've deposited there for you. There's no need to give a name. Just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. I put the jewel in pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will.
And I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before.
Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault.
So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And that on the night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at Whitney Banks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for? From the trial, that pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of McGillard's pawns. That he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket. So I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. And he was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was to wait until the girl went to Windybanks to redeem the article. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilded's overcoat and the 1 disc that was in this pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing. Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we'd picked up on the fact that McGilded was involved.
Inspector!
You recovered fast. My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fella's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could. Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I had become nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still there in the shop else somewhere, so I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into the place that night. With the help of your old friends, the Skokin brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery? I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd located the music box I'd sold to McGilded on the shelves of forfeited articles. And the second disc was inside? Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
What are you doing in my shop?
Bang! A gunshot rang out in the shop and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night. Just in case. Huh! Bang! Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge.
A sorry tale.
It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windybanks on that wretched night. Well, he's dead. Lost again. No, I was wondering if there something would come up with the fact that I had eyes on the maid, but nothing came of it. Earlier, you called McGilded a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts. Escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded. Yes, I think I have.
Well, that has been a long and exhausting trial. However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon?
He's been restrained, my lord, and he's been escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Windybank and the stealing of government secrets.
Very good. And you, Inspector, regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector. An excusable one.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yeah?
It is time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Yes, sir. Garrett Squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now. The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decision to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Freaking Russian guy. Also with the head right there. Blam! Haha, that's the stuff. I'm off the hook. That was a bad voice. Finally, Uno, you finally managed to do it. Finally is the word. I really wasn't sure if we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best way in the world.
Miss Lestrade, I am not finished with you yet.
Eh? What are you looking at me for like that?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider,
Eh?
2 months ago, in my courtroom, no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? In relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Mrs. Wendybank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilded's property, it seems.
Eh? I've never done nothing of the sort. Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilded's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. Aw, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Guinea this evening.
And turning our attention to the defense, determining that, when played together, the music box discs contained a message in Morse code was, well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, counsel.
Still got wine somehow.
Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard.
You racist bastard.
In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast.
To racism.
To demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom.
God dang it. Hate this guy.
Bitch!
Ah. Very sorry about that. It was the only way that I could get Inspector Gregson to admit to what he'd done, so... If I may say something on that point... Isn't that... Oh, it's her. Is there something on the point? It's about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What? What are you saying, madam? Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession one feels.
But I must say that, in my opinion, the sounds produced by those two discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of two different tones. What? What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you this? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. No, we know McGilded conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really going to bother me.
Miss Lestrade.
We do have a copy with, via Hurley, but only one half. Yeah, my lord?
That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity. An appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on, it ain't nothing.
I don't see most in days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon?
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes.
Gina.
But look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you've got to start at home. You've got to change how you are yourself.
Huh. Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Mr. Strahd never gracing my courtroom with her presence again.
Oh, she'll be back, I'm sure, in the sequel.
Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, not a guilty.
Confetti! Yay! Fireworks with the balls!
Her own gun! The hell? Why does she have a weapon on her?
Wow. They could have had, Iris with her bazooka.
That is all. Court is adjourned. Get the hell out. I got presents to deliver.
Oh, they're still there, huh? Alright, trying to draw the swords. Draw swords! Draw swords!
Kill him!
Now what? Got a sword right there.
On personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend.
Oh!
Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense and to the malice that festered within the Englishman. And at the same time saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
Yeah, it should be harder. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan. We're all human beings. I knew I was going to say that. We're not so different. We're not so very different on the inside.
Nope, racist still. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom.
You did?
When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed.
Huh?
Through you, I hoped to look into the eyes of the man I once knew, and try to understand.
Okay, that's going to be covered in the sequel. Huh. You mentioned something earlier. You mentioned something similar earlier today about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. We're going way over an hour here. What happened exactly? Yeah, there's still what Kazuma wanted to do, right?
Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
Cryptic? Alright, then I'll wait for that day if I must. They had a sequel planned? Okay. Or this is added for this game.
Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey in my retirement from service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again.
Oh, so he's racist because someone else from the country betrayed him. It's gotta be something to do with Kazuma. Kazuma came here for a reason. Came to deal with someone. And... wow, okay, that was in my shirt. I just did laundry. 17th of April, 5:24 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
It's done!
It's over at last! Well, what time did it say? Oh, it's 5:24. There's no way Sasato's not gone already. But... where's Iris disappeared to? She's gonna break Gina out. Congratulations, Gina! I knew it all along! I knew that you were innocent.
Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me right up to the end. Yeah, as odd as your name. That's what's odd about it. I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? Bitch, please. No one ever has before, see? Get the promise, I mean, properly. That's awful. I figured something out today. All me life, growing up in the slums, I'd never trusted no one. But that's just 'cause I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Huh. Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, well, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of the valuable lesson. Oh well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. You're kind out loud, pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. Let's wrap this sucker up. This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma. Am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. Bailiff? Yep, bailiff. Oh, it's not a bailiff! But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? Has he been there the whole time? I have no idea. Ah, that voice. It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Yes, it was me all along. I would have said when finally you noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling. Like the bears, you're like, huh. Mr. Sholmes. Yes, it was me all along, you see? He's such a brat. He really is. I'd assumed you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. First person to say the hospital, by the way. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh. I happen to be aware of 1 or 2 foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. Really made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with that leave of absence. How very above board. But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Miss Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations, Arnoda. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you. Oh, thank you. Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe. Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade? Your mother was a bear. Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been fighting for our lives. I lost the voice, apparently. Oh, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but well. Have a feel. Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? What? Strangling Naruhodo. And in some way, I suppose? Congratulations on order for you too, Miss Lestrade. What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted? Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but You're still going to jail. Oh, right, yeah. An acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyway, is that it? The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilden, in fact. But of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Yeah, well, it don't bother me. Really? Oh, really? 'Cause not. Course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs? You mean, like God? Yeah, him upstairs, what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. You won't have to get the wrong end of the stick. There's some coves like that bog trotter what rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though, with the Reaper taking matters in his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, I ain't like the McGildeds or this was, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see? Principles, but still cool stealing. A trait in you, which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade. Oi, just give it a rest, alright. As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well, there you are, Howie. How long have you been there? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there. Ah, Iris, my dear. I do apologize. But wait until I tell you about what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves. What happened? As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room disguised as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it? I'm not sure, will we? I beg your pardon? I'm sorry, Howie, but you just don't have the whitey presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day. I'll be careful. Ouch! Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Guinea tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. You're the judge's Potter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. Older than my fences. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotter stuff, what was in lug, blah blah blah. Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense. And they're going right out. But a diving ain't an offense. It's a job, ain't it? I don't think so. Still, it has got me thinking of this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Odo? Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket. But anyway, I reckon I could make a change. I'm gonna do something for all of them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Guinea, and I'm sure you can do it. Weird how they did a quick fade on it. What is it? Nothing. Miss Gina Lestrade? The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Right. Well, looks like I'm off then. Yes. Goodbye, Gina. And good luck. Odo? Yes? Gun! The fact it takes so long for her to reload and shoot. Oh! Ah! What was that for? It was in the dick, too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so... Dick in the face. Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. Eh? On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you. Oh. Oh, yes. It's good advice, Guinea. Right, I see. Well... Thanks, Odo. Oh, actual tears. Thank you for everything. What you've done. For believing me. For believing in me. Gotta improve on this voice, because she's probably in the sequel. Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Really off-putting that still right there. Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. Well, quite the indomitable pig purse. Oh, I never forgot. I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition. This trial is all over the front page. Pickpocket's innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful? A newspaper in the afternoon of the same day? You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me, right? But anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? Not again. Well, what do you say, Una? Howie? As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news. And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there. Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently. Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. My god, we're at 90 minutes here. Jeez. Ah! Alright then, what's the bad news? The storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailing out of the Dover has been delayed by a day or more. Wait, Dover? Doesn't that mean... That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off. Huh. But... There won't be a train, surely? We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Miss Naruhodo? Mr. Shelms? I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. I don't... The great detective does it again! Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport directors' foibles. What? I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he heavily laid on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. Never! What are we waiting for, then? To London, Victoria! Time for the credits? Or are we going to see her first? 18th of April, 5:32 a.m., Port of Dover, Quayside. So she has just been sitting and waiting for a whole day, waiting to leave. So she's just been stressing over the trial the whole time, hasn't she? That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now. Mrs. Sato, where are you? Right effing there in the pink! Over there, look! It looks like she's reading something. Yeah, I was wondering, are we going to cover what happened or not until next game? Look! Hold it! Mrs. Sato, wait! What are you doing? She just jumps in the water. Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? Ah, she's dead. It went well. She was acquitted. That's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you were about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell. You were saying goodbye to law? You, Sasato-san? Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole, Miss Sasato? I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. But it saved Gina! That reminds me. When the hell did you take my gun? How'd you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of this incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun. I stole one of those armband. Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't know us for ages. So blaming the victim here, huh? On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cap flap-o-mat, so I put it up my sleeve, and held it there forever. You know, that gun's not very small. Really? And then I rather forgot about it, until I found myself in Mr. Windybank's shop with it later that night. Up your sleeve! I see, you have a pocket dimension in there. And then... bang. Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. Right. After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think that door started to play on my mind. The storeroom door, you mean? Yes. If Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at the moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So you used the cap flap-o-mat to make the peephole in the door. It's captured in a photographic point of the shop by one of Harry's wet-handed recorders. Indeed, it was of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing. And when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier. The trial of Magus McGilded. I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Huh! Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windybank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing. You're worried that the true culprit could try to frame her for the crime. That's right. But then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. What do you mean? Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door. Ah! For which, the peephole would be the very thing. Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference. But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? A trap? Is that what she did? Yeah. Yeah. Graydon activated a trap card. So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police. I know, and I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong, a criminal offense even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruto was completely backed into a corner, with no other possible means of escape. Truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan. She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Ah. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with the crime scene. So Mr. Sato has decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. Here's the thing. You could argue that she just wanted to make sure someone was okay inside there, so she broke the door open. It's not necessarily tampering with the crime scene. It's just what happened to the crime scene because of what was happening. So Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake and Miss Lestrade's. Mrs. Sato! The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I'd lost a little of my faith in the law. Oh. I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mrs. Sato, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruto, you've saved me too from my regrets. And she's smiling. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured. Yes, exactly. Sort of. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure. But the revelation of the music box just contains secret messages, Miss Naruto. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. Oh? It wasn't? There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator. She said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tunes. As one would expect, after all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted. Makes sense. Cipher? I see. So then, we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. Asogi? Asogi? What?
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny.
Wait, Iris, what did you just say?
Oh, I just said Asogi. Does that word mean something to you?
Means something? Asogi was the name of my best friend.
What?
But how? How do you know that name, Iris?
I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius.
I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense.
Let me guess. Is Morse code in Japanese?
That is, in English at least.
It's not a cipher, it's just Japanese. Oh.
It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added the Morse code to use it in their own languages.
I don't believe it. Are you saying?
That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before.
God dang it, Iris, Jesus.
But I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it?
Iroha? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code the message says Asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all the Japanese Morse code.
Iris, would you let me see that? Mrs. Sato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
Yes, I spent some time studying it, because I'm a genius. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications.
It will. Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version?
Be that as it may. Iris, show me the message, please. Of course.
But what can this possibly mean? Whatever it is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes, it's made the color drain from Sato's face. This is a lot of sequel baiting right now.
There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications?
I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names?
The first is Kei Asogi.
Kazuma Asogi. Kazuma Asogi? Why? Why was his name on that disc?
The second is A. Shin.
Shin? I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Guregusen.
Gregson! Tobias Gregson! What was the other? What was the other one? Asian. Asian. But Tobias Gregson. Greguson. Gregson?
It would seem Tobias Gregson is the third man on the list.
And what's his name doing in a secret government communication as well?
And the last name?
Who's gonna be her father, isn't it? What's the matter, Mrs. Sato?
It's just so strange. So unexpected.
Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense.
The last name is J. Wilson.
Oh, no, it's... Oh! It's a list of assassin targets. Maybe. They already killed J. Wilson.
What?
And look at him. Look at Shelm's like, Wilson?
John H. Wilson? You mean Gary? It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then after the 4 names it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the end of the message, or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris.
I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. So Daddy could be in Japan then? Where Susie and Wuno come from? Did we tell her yet? Oh, well, how about that? No, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the same surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. Well, we can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't! This is so strange. Somehow, when solving the case of Mr. Windybank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. And Jesus is coming out in 3 days of it. I do wonder. Perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. Yeah, but come on! Oonk. So 2 Japanese names, 2 English names. Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon. Yes, it seems so. I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change into a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. Yeah, where are we going then, Susie? We wish you a safe passage, Mr. Sato. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Mrs. Sato, I had hoped to have you always at my side, to guide me and support me. Mr. Naruhodo, please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Making her cry as she leaves. Way to go, man. Way to go. Good job. Now it's a tearful farewell. I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it. Will we, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I have yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Ah. Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. When do we tell her that we know her dad's been dead for a while? Definitely, Iris. When do you tell her? When do you tell Sholmes, by the way? Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Do you remember the first time we met? Yes, of course. On the SS Burio when I was dragged out from the wardroom still half asleep. That's kind of the first time they met. They did meet before. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with a Sasato takedown. You know very well what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma's Kazuma-sama's great legacy. Mrs. Sato. And my instincts were right. I really want to believe, no, I'm sure that I'll be back soon. Farewell then. Farewell until then. The end. Jeez, we went almost 2 hours. Now for the credits. No, cutscene first.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least. Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
This dude walking around with a sword, by the way. The cat! Long on.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead.
Oh, you did not.
Of course there will.
You did not just name drop a Phoenix Wright game.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Violin room. I only saw 2 strings for a moment.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
And one is leaving. Freaking 2-hour finale. Time for the credits. Was it? Or not? Ah, yes. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently. Huh? Because such commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait at stations. But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. Huh? What? I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Mr. Sato, you were defending yourself in court. Oh my god! What? Oh god! Oh no! It's alright, I'm probably happy to testify. You really don't look like he's the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? Oh my god! Oh no! Mr. Sholmes? Yes? A word, if you don't mind. Why, certainly, any word you like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow. Oh yes, I love one of those words. Now you're just the one who's here. Oh yeah, objection. Then, I really must say...
Objection!
Yes, yes. Just like how they ended the first Phoenix Wright, by the way. Spin and point. Shutaku. Director scenario planning. Alright, are we gonna get dialogue in between the credits like always? Yes, we are! Alright. In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, and though it transpired, I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with "Use by Mrs. Sholmes to solve an important case." And the money I've earned. Consulting detective work pays a pittance by comparison. God. Kazuya Nuri. Art direction and character designs. I haven't swept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hurley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooked is an overstatement, but some to white toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfast. Ah. Music by Yasumasa Kitagawa. This is pretty good music. There's some good tracks in here. Witness! Your testimony is riddled with contradictions. Exactly! Really, do Rakoban coins hide under rare stakes themselves? Well, I don't know, so knows his father's an innocent man. Why you call me witnesses? My courtroom is no place for your petty arguments. Oh my god, so many voices. Inosuke Kodama Takeshi Ito. What was having delivered the Russian dancer to shore to Shanghai, I laid low on the steamship for a while. But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I've done it! I've done nothing wrong! All I did was give you black eyes of spring refuge in my pocket. A man brings some kittens on board and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair! So he left the cat but took the kittens? Wow. That's weird to take the children but leave the parent behind. That's so weird. That's really weird, man. Scientific investigation will be the gold standard for policing in the new age. I dream of a world governed by the tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment. I bet he bangs to time, too. Like, oh, to the ticking of a clock he bangs, and it's only like a minute. He's definitely a minute man. The latest Rance magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation. Wanna hear it? Huh. Not bad, I suppose. For an amateur. Glug, 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 glug. Glug. Her ladyship puts me to shame. So, how much trouble did he get in, by the way? That's my question. Kiko Shibana. I didn't get to say this. I didn't read the names fast enough. Been visiting the old girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bally stairs every day has done wonders for the dicky peg. Managing rather well with the housework, too. Got this maid business up and running. I hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid. Oh, I see. He's his own maid. Alright. I thought maybe he hired the other maid. I guess he just got a thing for maids. So now self-love. Oh god, these two. Now we're always back on the beat again. All thanks to the Reaper. There's nothing I enjoy more these days than hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm a better barber now, looking out for Londoners. They drop high pennies on my lovely wife. Oh, Pen. Oh, Valley. God, these two. Jesus. Though it's a pretty cute couple at the same time. Who doesn't want what they've got, right? Who doesn't want what they've got? You know he's not sleeping because of what they're doing. You know. Looks like I'm gonna be doing time for a bit now. But Iris comes every day for Nata, so it ain't too boring. He's always going on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them. She can be a second assistant. Well, Lestrade is someone who works with Sholmes, with Holmes, in the book, so... Crap, I was reading the chat, I was reading the cards, I keep forgetting about it. Yes, I renounce my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please. Come over, Governor. Come over, Governor. Come. Here's Ashwood. We got time in here to plan a comeback of Milverton and Skoke in the milk run, right? The Three Musket Whatsits. Milk in the neighborhood for all it's worth. Really? He's not going to be put to death? Is he not going to be put to death because he killed McGilded? I would accept him not getting put to death for killing McGilded. Like, well, you did treason, but you killed the guy, so you know what? Even? Still going to jail for life, but even? This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruhodo-san, I promise. Your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well. We're gonna be put for trial for murder again in the next game, aren't we? We're gonna be. What was that picture? Freaking Wagahan. Jesus, 2 hours. 2 hours. Oh, there's more? We have more credits? We have more credits? Apparently we have more credits. Oh, voice actors. Oh, hey. Makoto, Rina Takase, Takasaka. Oh, there's everyone else. Iris Wilson, Claremore. Wait, she had a voice at some point in the game? Naruchi. Random voices. You see all the characters again. Just to reminisce one more time. The freaking names. Yeah, Bird Lady. I thought she was going to come up in the final case. We caught her, but we didn't... She got to go back home. I assume she's going to be in the next game because she did kill Wilson. She was an assassin. So we're going to learn more about that in the sequel. So they had a sequel planned from the beginning, basically. But they just knew they were going to make a good enough game. I guess when you make a Phoenix Wright game, but, you know, different generation, it's going to probably go well. You know, I don't remember the smaller Rusky guy. I just remember the big Rusky guy. Get his name right now. Was it Stroganoff? I think it was Stroganoff. There's Hosonaga again. I thought Hosonaga was just, he keeps showing up, by the way. And then that's where Kazuma ends. Are we gonna get that sword? No? Alright, not gonna get that sword. Poor girl. Like, he's like, I'm gonna go get my buddy out of this closet here, and then we're gonna figure this out. No! Murder! Oh, no! I guess we should be thinking about... So, summing up the game. Now that we're done. Oh, there she is with the sword. Now we finished, we should reminisce and think about it. The cases were fun. It got formulaic at the end, like I was complaining. But it was fun. Good characters. Interesting to see this abridged version of it now. Like, it was fun characters, good surprises. My only problem was it got formulaic with just, this is it, this is the final thing. Oh, now it's the final thing. No, wait, no, this time it's the final thing. Again and again. Alright, they came here and then they met Strongheart. He set them up to defend McGilded for some reason. I don't know why. He just was planning on having them be embroiled in it for some reason. These freaking three. I thought the Hatter was going to be something. Freaking McGilded. He looks taller there. I thought he was shorter than everyone else. His big-ass hat. At least it was a voice I was doing alright. It helps that they were doing, what do you call it, accents in the writing. It really helped. Okay, Shom should have showed up sooner in this walking timeline when you think about it. Not again. I haven't touched the thing in a while. He's gonna walk with him now? Yup. Yeah, the case of Joan. Is Joni accidentally almost murdering a lady? Freaking those two. There she is. With the most ridiculous cheek physics. This freaking guy was probably the standout voice for me because I got to go nuts. For sure. Just like how I gave Kazuma one of my better voices, not realizing he was gonna die early like Mia does. And now she's gonna walk? Yep. Little Iris. There's Von freaking... Yeah, there's a sword right there. Oh yeah, we're at the final case. The fifth and final case. Yeah, their movements were like, yeah, it reminds me of that guy. Yep, there you go. Yeah, where's her? There she is. With her freaking coin thing. So, reflecting. Very good game. God, how long she takes to reload that dang thing. Yeah, she can't follow because she's in jail right now. All in all, like, this is easily like you could say a 9 or a 10, like... Let's go with 9, just because those little complaints I have with the formula. But it's a riveting game that really draws you in. That was really good. It goes up there with all the other Phoenix games. Question, does this beat Phoenix Wright is a good question. I don't know. I think Phoenix 1 kind of might be my favorite because of how ridiculous that one was. You have a bird witness. The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, Finn. Part 1. We also have Part 2. Okay, gonna hit A... Oh, no, don't hit anything, it's fading. Ah, nice. Fleeting Farewell awarded. I'm assuming this is when they graduated. I hit A. Not that they had anything it's fading. Is there any more? I was gonna say, is there more? Okay. Real quick, before we stop, let's look at the special contents. What's in here? Accolades? View any accolades you've accrued. Other ones you can't get for being awarded all other accolades. Completion of episode 1. Researcher. Oh, okay, this is gonna be the second game right here. Okay, stop looking at those in case it spoils. Playing the game in all available outfits. There's available outfits?! Having dug around to find every argument about shovels and spades. Oh no, I haven't done every argument! The top rung. For having wrung your hands through every debate about ladders and stuff. No, these are in here?! There's debates about ladders and step ladders?! What?! Oh god, that is such a weird... It's such an interesting running joke with the Phoenix Wright games. That's in here? Son of a bee! Hit A really quick. Okay, okay, it's only in 2. Okay, it's only in 2, alright. But this is in 1 and 2. Oh, okay. So it's only in 2, so I just spoiled that for myself. Let's stop looking at these then. We'll look at those after we beat 2. Gallery. Portraits. Oh, hey, you can see sketches and stuff. Cool. They were gonna make him more Phoenixy? Oh my god. Different hairstyles. Susato! More young girl there. Shomes! Had different ideas for his glasses, his goggles, his googles. Steampunk! Iris. She's a cute little girl. Different version of guns. Oh, having her have 2 little darlings. Okay, didn't notice that. Different version of ours. Oh, that's cute. Also different versions. Also cute. Very different versions. All cute. Cosmo Sogi. Sword. Different version. Glasses guy. Yeah, sure. Okay. He was gonna be a nerd. Von Zeeks. Ah, different forms of douche. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Different forms of douche. Then miscellaneous. Let's see what the last one is. Special exhibit. Yeah, I gotta beat number 2 for that one. Okay. Different versions of the father. The judge. Oh god, I'm glad they didn't go with that last one. Glad they didn't go with that last one. Freaking Hosonaga. That lady. Such an interesting idea, that lady. Dancer girl. Santa. Cures. Freaking historical figure. Moon. The sun and moon. It's pointed out right there. Sun and moon. Oh, flowers. Okay. Sunflower. Sunflower. Oh, I get it. These two. Strongheart. And this guy. Alright. And then they'll unlock more. Moving pictures. They're called moving pictures. "7 Days of Sin." Why does that sound like an Special trust. Okay, we're gonna look at these later. What are these? 7 Days of Sin just sounds like an H. Okay, what the hell? Go ahead, get out of there. Auditorium. Okay, music, voice recitals.
Objection.
I'm not a fan of his voice, I'm just not. Taylor. There's his homemade suit. Oh, wow! So you can have them in these outfits. And, oh my god, look at that. Showman's Japanese jumble mix? Okay, that's curious. And there's... Oh, these outfits are for the sequel. Okay. Escapades. Short extra... Extra chapters? Alright, okay. So we have an epilogue episode to do. It's these extra chapters. We have to do these escapades, so we'll do these next time. So I guess we're not done yet. Escapades next time. So that's it for now. That is the finale, though, sort of. We'll do an epilogue episode. We can reminisce on the game some more there, too. So that's it for now. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's up, Bazant. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. Holy crap, that was 2+ hours. Oh my god, that was long. Holy crap! Holy crap! Oy.